Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Neha Bhardwaj Alter. Last night, the weather gods played spoil sport for all of us, but we're hoping that tonight it's going to be better. The forecast is much better and hopefully the rain stays away for the big IPL 2023 final. It's the Gujarat Titans versus the Chennai Super Kings. Take two. For all of you who are wondering what happens if this day is also washed out, who will be the winners? We will give you the details on the show, but let's not jinx this by talking about a washout. Let's talk about both these teams and what we can expect today, because we want action. We want, this match to go on to have 20 overs, a full match today. The mentor versus protege, we're calling it the battle of the mentor versus the protege. MS Dhoni versus Hardik Pandya. I have Jamie Alter and Vedam Jaishankar with us to start all over again, gentlemen. Hopefully rain stays away. For starters, let's just not see any more puddles and CSK fans sleeping on the railway station. Just really disappointing sights. It was a bit of an anticlimax, so hopefully that happens. Jamie?
Absolutely. I mean, I for one was not surprised that we didn't get a ball bowled, because the amount of rain that it seeped into the pitch, into the outfield, we kept getting visuals. Of course, all of us have our own sources there, people we know at the ground, and not a single person had anything positive to say. And this was from like 7:15, 7:20. So I for one had no doubt that we were not going to get a ball bowled. And it's unfortunate because yesterday the forecast was not as it panned out, and today the forecast actually is for a bit of rain. So let's just hope. I mean, these are very disturbing visuals in the sense that you look at this is the world's biggest cricket stadium. You can get over 1 lakh people in there. A lot of them hung around because you just know what it means. But being a Sunday, today's a Monday. I'm sure a lot of what happened yesterday is going to play on people's minds. You're not going to get anywhere near, I think, a full house, especially with the rain actually forecast. So it just leaves a very sour note on what's been a very engaging, almost 2 months of cricket. So
Yeah.
let's hope it stays away. But I mean, I don't want to be a dampener, but it doesn't look good what we're hearing.
Yeah, for now, I mean, it looks like there is no rain. It's been sunny since the morning throughout. It's been nice, but hopefully it stays this way. Vedam, I wonder though how players deal with this, the delay, the endless waiting. They often say, players, when you talk to them about how they prepare themselves for a big match, they say, you have to switch on. You have to really be in the present moment and try to do your best. Must be frustrating for the players as well. I'm sure they were mentally prepared for this. The final to have taken place yesterday. Now they have to wait another day. How do you think they deal with this?
Oh, it's very tough, not just on them, but also on the staff which is working on them. Because, throughout the tournament, they prepare the players in such a way that they peak at the right time. And peaking at the right time, obviously, is peaking on the final day. That's when they'd like everybody to be primed and, ready and raring to go. But then when you come to that situation and suddenly you find that instead of being primed, you're actually flat out. It takes a lot out of you mentally and physically to get to that stage. And while physically you could be in a very good space, still mentally, I'm not so sure. Like you correctly said, it's very difficult for a player really to get to that high and then come back again, rework himself. The toughest part is to, G yourself up to get into that right frame of mind. And sometimes, rains and these kind of interruptions are not just a dampener. They take the focus away from what you really want to do. And it is not just for the players, but also for the support staff to keep them mentally in that good space and ensure that you get maximum out of them. And I'm sure it must have been a big challenge yesterday to keep them focused, not to worry about other things, but what they can do, what is within their framework and what is beyond their control, not to worry too much about it. But I think once you reach a situation where it calls for your action and calls for you to deliver, I think that's the time when the support staff really need to work the players and get them into that high again, And that's the challenge, both for the players and the support staff.
Absolutely. Okay. The other thing that I feel bad for, yesterday, the visuals that were coming out, I get that this is a good stadium. It's a biggest stadium, not just in the country but in the world, biggest cricket stadium. But I was feeling bad for the fans. I mean, they were waiting for so long, and every time it felt like just maybe you could get a match. It started pouring again. Then there were visuals of some of the CSK fans. I don't know if you saw that video of them sleeping on at the railway station. And then, of course, visuals of fans walking back on flooded roads. Jamie, it can't be easy. I mean, a lot of these fans, how are they? They must have had to change their travel plans. I know Rohit, by the way, came back today because he couldn't get a ticket for today in the evening. So, he's here. But I'm saying just fans who've gone to watch this game, and it's a final. This is, it's the biggest match of this IPL, and then to have this happen to the fans.
No, of course. I think in this case, this is an extreme case. Rain was not supposed to be there. And of course, when these big tournament finals are announced, you don't really know what the weather is going to be like in 2-3 months' time. But Mehab, the bigger picture is that my heart always goes out to Indian cricket fans who make the arduous journey into any cricket stadium. Now, this is one of the better ones, but the stadium, how it used to be, and the last time I was there was 2016, this stadium was terrible.
Yeah.
There are just not enough quality grounds. And unfortunately, I've said this before, the BCCI does not treat its fans the way that such dedicated, passionate fans should be treated. I'm not talking about rain and being, and having to sit for hours. But overall, in general, you just see the kind of efforts, the pain and literally it's painful for people to stand in line due to the barricades, the restrictions. I mean, I remember there was a match in Mohali I've gone to, and as a journalist, and a notepad and a pen were taken away from me. You often see, there's 25,000 people and there's 4 fountain Pepsi stands. The bathrooms, the Firozshah Kotla is the worst cricket ground I've seen in the world. So unfortunately, while your question to me is addressing yesterday's the visuals and the fact that fans were sitting around waiting for hours in the rain, there's a bigger picture here that has to be addressed. Now, coming back to rain, I think the closest comparison that I can perhaps give, and I'd like to hear what Vedam also has to say on this, you see it in soccer/football. You also see it in games like baseball and American football, where rain comes into play. But again, cricket is one of cricket's beautiful factors is that the pitch, there's no other sport takes into consideration the pitch like it does. But these games, they do not. All the organizations, the state board, whatever you say in these sports, they ensure the fans are not sitting there till 1:30 at night, right? Unfortunately, cricket, especially the IPL, we've not come to a solution because the games themselves start so late, and there's so much riding with the host broadcasters. They don't mind the delay. They get more time to show packages of Virat Kohli, more ad breaks, more, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But these visuals, as tough as they are to watch, this is nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I just wish the bigger picture is addressed, because let's face it, the money that comes through turnstiles is the smallest concern for the BCCI.
Okay, now what do you think? Who will win tonight? Just let us know in the comment section below, and we're already getting some comments. Haseen Ahmed says it's final and GT is going to rock. There is also Rajeshwari Ganeshan who says it is CSK all the way. Keep calm and support Chennai Super Kings. The other thing people want to know is what happens when it comes to the rain. What happens to the playing conditions? So let's take you through what can happen today if you see rain in Ahmedabad. So if you want to know what the playing conditions are in case there is rain that stops the game, we've got it covered for you. Now, as per the playing conditions, the match has to start by 9:35 p.m. local time for a full 20 overs aside to be played. The cutoff time for a 5-over shootout is 12:06 a.m. If the conditions don't allow even that, the teams will play a super over to determine the winner. If that is also not possible, then Gujarat Titans will be declared winners by virtue of having finished higher on the points table in the league stage. So there you have it. These are the playing conditions till 9:35 p.m. local time. If the match starts by that time, you'd still get full 20 overs aside. Cut-off time for a 5-over shootout is 12:06 a.m. and if the conditions don't even allow that, then the teams will play a super over to determine the winner. If it's completely washed out, if it's not possible at all, then Gujarat Titans will be declared winners by virtue of having finished higher on the points table in the league stage. So there, I hope that answers your question. Let's also then ask our experts as to what we can expect now. This is, Jimmy, we were discussing this yesterday as well. For a lot of CSK fans and for CSK, the team itself, this is about, this is an emotional moment really for them. Because every match that they've been playing, you always get a sense this might be MS Dhoni's last. So in that sense, this is perfect. If they win tonight, it's a perfect farewell gift for MS Dhoni in case he doesn't return next year. So there is that emotion that they're going to play with.
And I think it's exactly that emotional connect that actually might see people return and flock to the stadium, even though I was just checking the Met report, and 2 hours from now, there is another storm due the Ahmedabad Stadium's way. And it's understandable, you know. I've said it before. I have no doubt that this is Dhoni's last year as a player. In yesterday's show, Vedam rightly mentioned that, you know, Dhoni's not been at his peak. The fact that he's batting at number 8, sometimes 7, you know, but he's what? If we divide his balls faced by the, you know, by the innings, he's probably not faced more than 4 to 5 balls on average, right? And that's by design, because he knows, Meha, the visuals we've seen of that left knee plastered. He's going to turn 42 in July. You know, it's very tough for him and Ambati Rayudu, two players who do not play domestic cricket throughout the year. Their training starts 2-3 months before the rest because they have to. They're playing for, you know, arguably the biggest franchise with the biggest fan base alongside Mumbai Indians. So the kind of work that's required, let's put Rayudu aside because he, I mean, with all due respect, he doesn't fall in the Dhoni category. But when Dhoni knows very well what is riding on him, the fans, every time he's played Savai Mansingh, Kotla, Hyderabad, you know, and people, Chinnaswamy, and there've been more yellow jerseys. He's had to really articulate himself and say, "Thank you. I know why you're doing this." So that is probably why I'll take back what I said earlier. You might see a houseful factor because I'm sure 90% people, though they won't say it, they all would love to see Tala Dhoni come back. Most people know heart and heart this is probably his last match.
Absolutely. Okay. Suresh Menon writes in to say, hi, Meha, who is winning today? I wish I knew, Suresh, and then I'd win a lottery that way. I knew I'd make a lot of money. I'd be a rich person. But what I do know is that this is going to be a cracker of a match. And for GT fans, if I could just tell you this, GT and why we're saying stars might be aligning for GT is because Gujarat Titans won the final of the IPL last year on 29th of May. Secondly, because of the rain, in case today's match is washed out and Gujarat Titans will be declared the winners. So there is this kind of a theory that people are talking about how Gujarat have the advantage. They of course have the advantage, Vedam, of playing at home, and they have the advantage of an unstoppable Shubman Gill. I'm wondering what will they do today, CSK, to stop Gill, because if they stop him, that's half the job done. They would think that's half the job done for them.
Yeah, Beha, before I get to that, I just want to spend a minute on the stadium business.
Yeah.
You know, stadiums throughout the world are becoming sleeker and smaller, whether it's a Maracana or whatever. Now, the ideal stadium that is really going to be built or is being built is a SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California, which is going to house the 2026 FIFA World Cup and the 2028 opening and closing ceremonies of the Olympic Games. And that's a $6 billion marvel. And what they have done is they have ensured that the spectator gets maximum comfort, so that you can drag him out of the comfort of his house where he's got his giant screen and his whole lot of other things and come to the stadium where, you know, they've got a whole lot of gadgets to keep him, you know, a warm seat, and there are holograms to lead him and a whole lot of other things. You know, he keeps his interest going, whether it's on the stock market or his music or whatever he wants, or his shopping, you know, and fan experience is totally different. And I think when we try to build these bigger and bigger stadiums, what we've really taken out is the comfort that a fan needs. This is actually an 18th century stadium if you really look at it.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we saw some shocking pictures of some of the spectators walking in flooded waters. Now, that's not good. That's
Yeah.
awful. It can
Yeah.
lead to disease. It can lead to so many other things. And I think we should move forward. And we are a rich board, but we need to do a little bit of planning. Things
Yeah.
like Super Soccer is already passé. And I think our cricket needs to reflect that and bring on the best practices. And it would be a shame really if the match is washed out because somebody has not been smart enough to ensure that during the dry period, of course, with rains, you can't do anything about it. During the dry period, they
Yeah.
wasted time trying to get the ground ready rather than the ground being ready itself. Having said that, you're absolutely right. Shubman Gill is the guy right now because he is in red hot form. And CSK know that they need to get him out quickly. And again, a lot would depend on how much water or how much moisture the pitch has taken. If the pitch has taken a lot of moisture because of these rains, then probably Shubman Gill would need to be a lot more careful than bat as carefree as he's been doing so far. Because CSK has got some decent bowlers. Deepak Chahar is a good swing bowler. He's able to get a lot of movement off the seam. And even Deshpande would be a very, very handy bowler in the right conditions. So I think Gill needs to be a little more focused now more than ever before because earlier all the factors were working towards him, but now he needs to make things happen, especially if there's a little bit of moisture in the wicket, as you said. And another thing is you don't know when it's going to rain. So whether you're batting first or you're going to chase, you always keep one eye on the sky. And that's not just you, but even the grounds folks and your support staff. And instructions would be coming non-stop from the support staff. They would be working on their laptops and trying to get some sort of whatever run rate needs to be maintained, and whatever the Met readings are. So I think this is going to be more than just a cricket game. And everybody over there, both the players and the support staff, need to be really, really smart to pull this off.
No, absolutely. And so a couple of things. One, just coming back to the stadium, Vedam, you raised a valid point that here we are with the richest cricket board in the world. We need to have better fan experience, better experience in the stadiums, be it the bathrooms, parking space. I have gone to Kotla, I haven't found parking space. I've had to walk kilometers before I can get to the stadium. As a woman spectator or a reporter, the bathrooms are in bad shape. That's not all. I can't even imagine what others who've got regular tickets, what they have to face in terms of, them not being allowed to carry a bag, a purse really with them. So there are a lot of those restrictions. And on top of that, if they're not able to see a game because of bad drainage system or not having world-class facilities, then that just is terrible for those fans. And I'm saying this even yesterday you raised a point and I was reading up on this and the viewers watching as well. There's a World Cup that India is going to host. So all these stadiums now need to have that world-class facilities that Vedam was talking about yesterday. About Vedam, you talked about how KSCA has done it, and I was reading this story today where Ratnakar Shetty is praising KSCA for superb drainage facility. They've got a sub-air system that you were referring to that almost sucks all the moisture, all the the water out from the ground.
At 37 times the speed of gravity.
Yeah.
And it can also pump in oxygen to keep the grassroots refreshed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the beauty of it.
Absolutely. And only 2 stadiums, I'm told, have this. One is the Chinnaswamy and the other one in Dharamshala. After what happened in Dharamshala, you remember there's a match that had to be shifted in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So valid point there. And I hope the BCCI has seen this. In a way, this may work in a positive way for the BCCI because they can see now what might happen during the World Cup.
May I, if I might interrupt you? There's a very funny anecdote. This Chinnaswamy Stadium, they just put that up when Dhoni was the captain. And just the day before the test, which you were expected to win in any case, they brought 2 tanker loads of water to show that Dhoni and the rest of the Indian team how the system works. And Dhoni panicked. He said, no, don't do it here. Do it at the edge. Let's look at it at the edge. And they emptied 20,000 gallons of water onto the ground.
Yeah.
And like I said, it sucks water at 37 times the speed of gravity. In less than a few seconds, the entire water was gone. The players couldn't believe it. They were running their fingers through the grass to really check if that had happened. But having said that, again, when you talked about your parking issues, I'm just, see, I teach sports management. So, and one of the things I talk about is this, what you mentioned about. In the SoFi Stadium, what they're actually planning is for pods to come and deliver the spectator right at the gate and then disappear wherever, whether it self-parks or goes wherever. And then face recognition technology, you don't even have a ticket. Face recognition technology not only looks after your entrance, but also looks after your security, whether you're a security threat, a risk or whatever. And what are your interests? Data mining is so massive now.
Vedam,
right down to your
Vedam,
last
let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. I don't see this happening anytime.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is also working.
Yes, but
I'm saying the technology exists. We have the
I'm
money.
not sure. I'm sure they have the money. No
money.
one's saying they don't have the money, but I'm just saying I don't see that happening. I haven't seen that happening in the 20 years that I've been doing this. It hasn't improved at all, so I don't know. But just coming back to the game, so much is there's so much to talk about in terms of tactics, Jamie. When you look at these two sides, and why I say that this is going to be a close contest is because they are two sides that are very similar in how they've approached this IPL. They've had very good opening stands. Shubman Gill for Gujarat Titans, Ruturaj Gaikwad and Devon Conway for CSK. Middle order has been inconsistent somewhat. There are times when there is somebody or the other who's put their hand up, but not as consistent as the openers. And then you have big hitters, right? How do you see it playing out? Because I feel like it'll come down to finer margins of the game,
Absolutely. I think we discussed this yesterday as well. You see, Shubman Gill, 851 runs, outstanding average. Strike rate just keeps getting better. But unfortunately, he's sandwiched between a misfiring Riddhiman Saha and probably three number 3 options who have all blown hot, blown cold, right? Chennai, yes, you're right. Ravindra Jadeja, the batsman, has not stood up. Ambati Raidu, for whom this will be the last match, if he plays, he's not done anything. But Devon Conway, 625 runs. Ruturaj Gaikwad, 560 odd runs. Shivam Dubey closing out on 400 runs. And then Ajinkya Rahane, of course, he was never going to bat. Not every innings was going to be a 19-ball 50. But the cushion, the comfort, the confidence he gave CSK in those first 5 matches, when the average was really high and the strike rate was 170, whatever it was, it's going to come down. But still, he offers you the hope on the day, if the pitch is conducive to batting, whatever it is, it's still Ajinkya Rahane, right? Can Gujarat Titans say that? To my mind, no, right? Because Hardik Pandya's had an underwhelming season with the bat. He got 250s. One ended up being in a losing cause, to which he said, I know we lost the match because of me. Now, that's coming from a captain who batted at number 3 and scored 59 not out. So that's a very, I wouldn't say strange, but it's a very startling statement by him, right? David Miller was, to my mind, the best finisher of last year when Gujarat were chasing things like just for fun. This year, he started off very well, but he's got 4 single-digit innings in a row. Vijay Shankar has been very, very good, but he's not sure where he bats. So, like you said, finer margins, right? I'll maintain the momentum is with the team that has Shubman Gill as the first name on the sheet. But CSK, to my mind, are still better placed when it comes to relying on more contributors. It can be argued that you can win a match with 3-4 good performances. Do Gujarat have 4 good batsmen? No, they have 3 very good bowlers. 28 wickets, 27 wickets, 24 wickets. The top 3 bowlers of this IPL are all on the same team. Chennai's bowling is the weaker link, But yes, Tushar Deshpande done very well. Jadeja's been very, very good. Matisha Patirana and Mohit Sharma are vying to be the best death overs bowling. But if the situation gets tight, and I'm
Yeah.
not even going to mention the MS Dhoni factor because that is so obvious, but Chennai up against the wall, they can rely on more batsmen, I think, than Gujarat can.
Okay, the other thing being who controls the middle overs better. That is another big battle, Vedam. Jamie's already talking about Ravindra Jadeja and how he's been bowling for this team. The last match they played 2 for 18, brilliant figures from Jadeja, and really he was the one who stifled Gujarat Titans. Today, who do you think will play better between Jadeja and Rashid Khan? Because Rashid for GT has done exactly the same for them. Any phase that he's come in, he's not only taken wickets, but, teams don't know still what to do against him. Who will do better today, in your opinion?
I would still go on a tried and tested horse like Rashid Khan because just like you said, he's done it under all conditions and against all batsmen.
Yeah.
This year, maybe he's having an issue. Maybe they're going after him. But even while they're going after him, they're giving him wickets. It's not
Yeah.
that he's coming away wicketless. He's still getting wickets. I think, if at all, Gujarat Titans may have a quandary of if the pitch is sweating and if there is moisture,
Yeah.
do they bring in Alazari Joseph? Take a crack at the top order and see if we can run through about 3 or 4 quick wickets just with
Yeah.
pace and movement. But will they do that? I don't know, because one is you need to have ice cold veins, really, in this top condition, and or you need to be a big gambler. You need to be
Yeah.
one of those two things to really take a call on that. Because whom are you going to leave out? That's the big challenge. Do you leave out a spinner? Do you leave out a batsman? If you leave out a batsman, luckily this is decided only after the toss. You need to worry about your 11 only after the toss.
Yeah.
It's not like before. So you can have second thoughts also once the toss is through. But still, to get the player mentally prepared, it's a task of the coaching staff. So I think in many ways, CSK looks settled. Many ways they look settled. But man for man, I still believe that Gujarat Titans is the better team.
Though my only problem with Gujarat Titans is, and I think a lot of it has also been overshadowed by just how brilliant Shubman Gill has been when it comes to their batting. Because at times when he's failed, you can see those little problems, right? With, be it their middle order, not being able to decide who comes in at number 3. They've tried everybody. They went to Hardik Pandya. They went to Vijay Shankar, who was actually scoring runs for them there. But then in the last game, you end up sending Sai Sudarshan, who had to be retired out. After a point, he just couldn't get going. He was struggling out there and he tried, but they knew if there's somebody else at the other end who's batting at a strike rate of over 200, then you need to be able to match him at the other end with 150 at least, right, Vedam? Which Sai Sudarshan was not being able to do. So I'm surprised why they've not stuck with Vijay Shankar at number 3. Should they have done that? Should they look to do that today? Because in case Shubman Gill does not get going, then who is their batter that they will fall back on?
I'm not so sure if they use Sai Sudarshan or they'll use Sai Sudarshan to keep away Jadeja. Jadeja is a left-arm spinner and he'll bring the ball into the left-hander, and Sai Sudarshan is capable and very good at that, hitting the ball towards mid-wicket and square leg, So maybe keep Jadeja away from the firing line for as much as possible. It's possible, or he could get out first ball, but that's the game. But it again counts on what what the skipper wants to do. Would he have the guts to do it? CSK is doing the same thing with the Mumbai batsman. I forget his name. The tall Mumbai batsman who's really Dubey.
Yeah.
Dubey didn't have a very good season with RCB, but with CSK he's really stuck, and they've told him, that he can go after the left-arm spinners with confidence, and he's doing it brilliantly. He's just not letting them even settle down. So I think some sort of a theory that these teams are working on, especially against left-arm spinners, maybe that's the reason why somebody like Santner is actually kept out of the playing 11, though I can't see where's the space for him in the playing 11. But it's paying off. It's paying rich dividends, left-hand batsman going after left-arm spinners. It's actually working. And I wouldn't discount somebody like Tewatia. Tewatia has not come really good so far, but we know how destructive he can be and what he is capable of. And he just needs to snip an opportunity. For him, it doesn't matter. He'll just walk across and pull everything down to the leg side.
Yeah.
So I think Gavatia, David Miller, these are guys who are capable of taking the match away from any opposition. And
Absolutely.
you
That's
don't
true.
need huge runs. You need a quick 20, quick 30, and the match would have turned on its head.
Okay, so David Miller's got a great record in Ahmedabad. This season, he scored at an average of 41.6 at a strike rate of 167.74. They need him to bat well, and these are also conditions that he enjoys. Though, now I'm getting more comments. There is Suresh Menon, who's been writing to us, and he's saying, Vedam, he's asking us a question. He's asking you a question, saying, present conditions, are they better for pacers or for spinners? Given that it has rained yesterday, how do you see that playing out? The pitch, that's Suresh Menon, and then I'll take the other comments. Go ahead.
Yeah, it all depends on how much of moisture the pitch has taken. That's what I've been telling you yesterday. But if there is moisture, it also helps the spinner. The ball bites, the ball will stop and come, it will bite. And sometimes somebody like Ashwin is very good if there is a little bit of dampness on the pitch. He gets the ball to grip, he gets it to bounce more than expected. And when it bounces more than expected, you don't get the meat of the bat when you go for those big shots, And that could be very, very handy in a T20 game. So I really don't know how much of moisture the pitch has taken. And if it has really taken a lot of moisture, then somebody who seams the ball would also be very, very handy. Not so much of swing bowling, but guys who can seam the ball like Mohammad Shami there on your screen. He's terrific when he's seaming the ball.
Yeah.
And you might say that it will be only for 3 overs, 4 overs, but in those 3 overs, 4 overs, you can do a lot of damage. And if you can take away some of the top batsmen on the opposition side, that would be very good. I'm not so sure how big a role Rashid Khan would play if it is a damp pitch, but the guy has got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, so I wouldn't discount him at any time.
Okay, now Haseen Ahmed was asking us about the weather report from there. Now, what we're hearing is that the weather is going to be better today. Rain is predicted, but not the way it was predicted yesterday. There's 40% chances of intermittent showers, but it looks like we're going to get a game. And since morning, it's been sunny, clear skies. So rain is predicted later in the day, but so far it's not cloudy, and it looks like a clear day. So that's what we're getting right now. But you know what? That's exactly how the weather was yesterday before it suddenly got dark and dreary, and then we had crazy thunderstorm and lightning and all of that, and then the match was washed out. So we don't know, but as of now, it all looks very clear, and we're going to get a full game. Okay, so we've spoken about Shami and how how he can bowl well in these conditions if there is moisture on this wicket, but it'll also come down to the opening bowlers, right? Because both these teams rely on their openers to do well. In Gujarat's case, Shubman Gill, Wriddhiman Saha has not been consistent, but in CSK's case, Ruturaj and Devon Conway. And they do have very good power play bowlers in Deepak Chahar and Mohammad Shami. The game will be about who gets those early wickets. And then you can apply pressure on these teams, be it GT or CSK, Vedam.
Yeah, I would think that most teams would go for about close to 50 runs in the first 6 overs. That's where you really have to get your bearings going. But having said that, I think today, especially with the rain, the threat of rain always looming large, like you correctly said, you need a captain and you need a staff, that is support staff, who will be able to think on their feet. It's not what you planned yesterday or day before yesterday that's going to matter. You should be able to think on your feet, come up with the right decisions and very quickly and enforce it. Because this rule of not allowing more than 4 fielders outside if you are slow or you're slow over rate, that's also going to hit them badly. So they're not going to get too much time to think. They need to act all the time. That's why you need to be sharp and you need to think on your feet. And sometimes you have to go on that gut feeling, which is what Dhoni does most of the time, goes by his gut feeling. So I think the strategy, the tactics, the sharpness of the captain will also play a big role today.
Absolutely.
And especially with that rain threat right there hanging.
Okay, so this is Dhoni's 11th IPL final. it could possibly be for the last time. There are CSK fans that I'm sure all of you saw in the stadium, right? Who had come all the way to see him play, possibly for the last time. The story itself has been the story of the IPL this season with MS Dhoni and CSK. Everywhere that he's gone, what you've seen is a sea of yellow, just cheering for MS Dhoni, celebrating MS Dhoni, the legend. In terms of loyalty, Vedam, I do see Chennai just, overshadowing GT. Of course, GT is a new team. They've played really well. This is their second season. I sense that even today, there's going to be a sea of yellow there, right? Cheering for MS Dhoni, which we've seen everywhere. And I was talking to Rohit today before we started the show, and he said that he was talking to the auto walas there who said that hum chahte hain ki MS Dhoni jeete. So that is very strong with CSK.
Yeah, but also let's not forget that CSK and India Cements have been handling cricket and cricketers for donkey's years.
Yeah.
They really know how to handle this. It's not just the IPL. Even before the IPL, India Cement was very strong in handling cricket and cricketers, And I still remember when Rahul Dravid's dad had a heart attack and he was not even in the country. It was the India Cements team which really took charge of the whole thing and ensured, there were guys for blood donation, somebody to stay with his dad in the hospital. I mean, they are incredible, India Cements is. And they've shown it time and again. Like I said, they have looked after their cricketers. They've ensured that even if the cricketers, they retire, they still look after them. And they've done this for so long. And the same goes with their fans. And they really have shown the way how to look after the game, how to look after the players, how to look after the former players, and how to look after the fans. And they are reaping the benefit of that. It's not something that new that they're doing. I'm well aware of what they've been doing from years, and I'm not at all surprised. Wherever they go, CSK will have a really big band of supporters.
Yeah. And you see former players who've been part of this franchise have the nicest things to say about this. Robin Uthappa said that he's going to be a CSK fan for life. And we saw the change in his game. We saw the confidence that he got in the last 2 seasons when he played for CSK. Deepak Chahar was saying something very interesting for all the fans. I don't know if you've seen that interview, where he's talking about how there is nothing that is forced on the CSK players. Everything is optional there. So all your net practice, all your training sessions are optional. You know exactly what you want to do. If you go tell your bowling coach, fielding coach, you want to improve somewhere, they'll be there to help you. They will never say no, but it's optional. They're treated like matured individuals who know exactly what they want to do. And that was interesting. That was interesting in the way they treat their players, the way they give them that decision making, or they let them have that ability to be able to make decisions and not force anything on them. Okay, now all of you who are watching and wondering that in case rain happens to play spoil sport today, what will happen today? So here is what the playing conditions are in case rain stops the game. As per the playing conditions, the match has to start by 9:35 p.m. local time for a full 20 overs a side to be played. So, if by 9:35 we can start the game, then full 20 overs a side can be played. The cutoff time for a 5-over shootout is 12:06 a.m. If the conditions don't allow even that, the teams will play a super over to determine the winner. If that is also not possible, then this is good news for Gujarat Titans fans, because they will be declared winners by the virtue of having finished higher on the points table in the league stage. So these are the playing conditions for all of you. Now, as of now, as we've been saying, there is no rain. It's not cloudy, it's sunny, it's a clear day, it has been a clear day, but we never know. So those are the playing conditions in case rain does come in to stop this game. Having said that, now let's also then get back to talking about the tactics, and we were talking about the power play battle between GT and CSK. What about the death overs? Because if this team has been good in power plays and how their bowlers have bowled, it's also the death overs where you've seen someone like a Mohit Sharma do well for GT, and then a young Matisha Patirana who, who has just shown how one can blossom under MS Dhoni once again. What's your take on who's going to do better in the conditions today?
That's a tough ask because the nature of the beast itself, that is T20 bowling, is rather funny. Your best balls can be hit out of the stadium. Your worst balls, you can get a wicket also, And somebody like Patirana is definitely very difficult to pick, especially if a batsman is new, he's just come to the crease, he's not been around for some time. He is going to have a real tough time to pick up this Patirana. Maybe if he can get an inner edge or outer edge which flies to the boundary, that could be termed as a very good shot, because this Patirana with his action, as a coach, you would never ever try to tell somebody to bowl with that action, because and half the time I think he's bowling underarm, which is not legal at all. Because I always hold that there's something quirky about his action, and that needs to be sorted out very quickly. But if you take that aside, I think he's a gem of a bowler that CSK has got, and he definitely will be a very, very, very difficult customer, especially if a new batsman comes in. He won't even. And the thing about this Patirana is he bowls one down the leg side, one down the offside, another one further down the offside, and suddenly, ping, he bowls a Yorker right dead center. You know, when you least expect it. So you don't even know how to react. It's not that you take the first step and wait for him to bowl somewhere else, because he himself doesn't know where he's bowling. That's what I look at it as. And it comes ping, and he is the bowler to counter, really, more than either Mohit Sharma or even Tikshana or Mohammad Shami or anybody. Patirana is the bowler to counter. If you can get Patirana 4 overs, 40 runs and no wickets, then I think Gujarat Titans will easily. But I don't see that happen.
Okay, let's also then take few more questions. There is Haseen Ahmed who's saying pitch contains too much moisture, so we're going to witness swing, bounce and turn too. Now I don't know, because today has been sunny, and I read somewhere the conditions were described as bone dry. The pitch was being described as bone dry. So again, it depends on the pitch and the condition of the pitch. Suresh Menon's asking, Vedam, win toss, bat or bowl first? This is again, it's become interesting, because now there is a rain threat, so you want to chase. Captains would want to chase, because in case of DLS, you know exactly the runs required at that particular stage in case rain stops the game. So this is going to be interesting. Vedam, how do you see this?
See, in earlier days, you used to check the moisture on the pitch by driving a key into the pitch. So you would know whether subsoil there is a lot of moisture. With a little bit of rolling, that moisture can come up to the surface and you can exploit it. But these days, they don't allow you. It's not done. Maybe you can secretly do something like that, but it's not done. It's not allowed.
Yeah.
So you don't know subsoil, how much moisture is there. So depending on how much you can pull out with the use of the roller. But having said that, some of the things that you point out, yes, I would say that bat second, because you have to keep an eye on the weather. And if you know the target, it's much easier for you to chase. Otherwise, if you're going to be batting first, you just simply have to go hammer and tongs and hope for the best. But yes, I would say that chase. But they are experienced cricketers. It's not that, you throw away a toss. That kind of argument doesn't come forth in a final. They're all experienced cricketers, and they know they've been in this situation. They would have prepared for this situation also. Some of the mock games they would have played would have provided for them to chase, So they will be prepped for it. And what they won't really be prepped for, as I see it, is rain. And that is the X factor which could really tilt the scales either way, But having said that, yes, I would bat second.
Okay, so Vedam will bat second. Now I have somebody who's joined me back, who I know will say bat first. Whenever in doubt, bat first. When you're sure, bat first. Jamie, see, the thing is now, number one, with this rain threat, do you want to chase because you know exactly what's the total you need to get to? What is the run, the target that you need to score in case DLS comes into play? But then batting first, you know that you don't have that scoreboard pressure in a big final. What do you think?
No, no, absolutely. It is going to come down to the chance of rain. I mean, I've been following various websites, various trackers. Not a single person knows exactly the percentage. I've seen it as low as 5%. I've seen it as high as 43%. So no one really knows. The good thing is since last night, Meha, there's been no rain. The pitch is fine. If the pitch plays to the way we're expecting it to be, as an Ahmedabad track, 220, 240, even 250 is very, very easily scoreable here. I would just say go bat. But knowing Dhoni, he might actually this time, if he believes that rain is going to be a factor, and even if there's 5 to 10% moisture in the pitch, I would expect someone like Dhoni to indeed chase. But Gujarat probably again that Shubman Gill factor, right?
Yeah.
You got a chance to bat first on this similar track, not the same pitch of course, but on a very similar track, and you put up 234 when at one point you were on track for 250. I think when Shubman Gill got out, there were over 3 overs left, and he was batting on 129, striking every third ball for six. So we can believe that had Shubman Gill kept going, he would have crossed 150 easily, and the team would have got to 250. So let's hope that Gujarat back that same belief.
Yeah.
So I think if it's Gujarat, they bat first. If it's Dhoni, he might chase. But again, we've seen Dhoni make comments like the whole dressing room wanted to chase, and I wanted to bat. So
Yeah.
who knows? But let's just hope. Let's stay positive. Let's hope the rain stays
But
away.
so that's
that
the
we get
other
to see a
thing.
nice high
Gujarat
scoring.
Titans in the 2 games that they played against CSK decided to chase. They won the toss and they decided to chase. They won the one, which was the opener, of course, and then in Chennai, they lost in the qualifier. It's interesting, but what it also does is that this now just adds more spice to this contest, isn't it? I mean, the fact that they're all going to be thinking of what to do, with rain now playing a big role here. But what do you think the teams should do? That's the question that we're asking you. So put it in the comment section below. Should the team winning the toss bat first or chase? Batting first, you can just go out there, set a target like what Shubman Gill and GT did in their last game. Or if you're chasing, then in case rain does come in to stop the game, you know exactly what point do you need to be in terms of the total number of runs scored. So that's a big question. We've got to talk a little bit more about Shubman Gill. We've talked about how CSK will look to stop him, and they've got an extra day in trying to plan things out, Jamie and Vedam, on how they can stop Shubman Gill. But just the genius of Shubman Gill, he has been, like I've been saying, the story of this tournament. 123 runs away from equaling the record of Virat Kohli, that 973 in 2016, which was incredible. And I didn't think that Shubman Gill would be the one, if at all, who would do this, because I was looking at his strike rate, gentlemen. 2021, he was striking in the IPL at 118. 2022 went to 132. Right now, he's striking at 156. The last 200s that he scored, he struck them at 200 plus. He's taken the risks, but he's also played textbook cricket, the kind of cricket that that kids should be learning from. It's proper cricketing shots, and that has been the genius of Shubman Gill. Vedam, in the way he played, he's got so much time. He's not, he's calm, he's unhurried. What has been special for you about Shubman Gill?
No, Shubman Gill's mental attitude is brilliant. He just goes after the ball. He backs himself. That's a great thing to do. He backs himself. And the way he plays across the line whenever he wants, he plays across the line at will. It's not that it's a preconceived thing. So he does that and does it very successfully. But, today there is so much of data analytics going on. And I think they would have studied in what are his go-to shots, what are the shots or what are the balls which get him into trouble. And they'll definitely work on that. I have no doubt on the mind that if he is the main player, and he is the main player for Gujarat Titans, CSK will do a lot of homework on him.
Yeah.
It may not be Dhoni who does the homework, but there will be a whole lot of there'll be a huge team out there doing a lot of homework on him, and I'm working with the bowlers how to work him out. His good shots and where he scores. They'll probably keep the best fielders there. Those kind of things will work out. But having said that, I remember one famous saying of Mike Tyson. He says all plans go out of the window once you get one powerful sock on the face. It's like that.
Well said.
You make a whole lot
Well
of
said.
plans. You make a whole lot of plans, but you
Absolutely.
get out first ball. The game is like that because when you walk in,
Yeah.
your score is zero. It doesn't matter what you got, whether you got 100 in the previous match or what you did in the previous match. The scoreboard reads zero. From there, you have to start working. What has worked for Shubman Gill is he is not being perturbed. He's not even looking back. He's just looking ahead. And the statistics that you gave proves that year after year, the guy has been improving. Not just his batting, but also his stroke play. And he's not going into a shell. There are a lot of cricketers who who bat very aggressively initially, but once there's sort of a certainty in a team, they try to hold on to that place. They play like politicians. They hold on to the players, want to get the right score so that
I
they're there in
think
the next match. That's not
absolutely, he's
happened
not done that. I'm sorry, I have to cut you short because we're running out of time and I need predictions from you guys. It's the big final, Gujarat Titans versus Chennai Super Kings. Jamie, who will win tonight?
First time I'm not seeing a clear winner. Normally, whether it's heart, mind, gut, whatever you want to call it, one team does flash before you for whatever reason. We all have our own choices. I'm not getting that visual. I was not getting it yesterday. I'm still not getting it. But I'm gonna still say that Shubman Gill factor. If he has a good day, it's gonna be very, very tough for Chennai to stop him. So I think GT by a whisker.
Okay, GT by a whisker. What about you, Vedam?
The way Jamie Alter is talking about it, I'm reminded of Paul the Octopus. Try to pick a winner. But
I remember that. I remember Paul the Octopus.
But yeah, I would still go with Jamie Alter on that. I think Gujarat Titans is a better team, and other things being equal, they should win.
Okay,
Other things
so
being
both going with Gujarat Titans. That's it. Then hopefully we get a good game of cricket. Hopefully rain doesn't play spoil sport today and we get 20 overs of full game with Shubman Gill possibly hitting another 100. That's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.